Hello, story lovers! Welcome to another edition of Me I Read. My name is Acan, and today I will be reading for you The Trotters in black, yellow, red, written by yours truly and illustrated by Richard Musingozi. The year was 1961, and it was the hottest day of May. The sun was glaring down on Arua town, shining brightly on the mabati roofs. And right there, in the middle of the town, was the big bungalow in which Amani lived with his parents and his big brother. The mabati roof was as shiny as silver, and the walls were blue and white like the clouds in the sky. On this particular day, Amani sat in the garage on the roof of his father's green Peugeot, watching his big brother paint. Amani was a curious boy, you see. Curious, and with arms and legs as long as a grasshopper's. He liked to watch his big brother paint. He liked to watch the colors become a story on the white canvas. But today, his big brother was not painting well. There was only a small, strange-looking bird with thin legs in the middle of his canvas. He put his paintbrush down and bowed his head. "What is wrong, brother?" Amani asked. His brother shook his head and said, "I cannot find the right colors for this painting." Now remember, Amani was a curious boy. His big ears opened wider, and he jumped down from the roof of the Peugeot. He looked around the garage and saw that his brother had opened many tins of paint. "What are you painting?" he asked his brother. "Remember the government announcement we had on the radio yesterday?" his brother asked. "Yes," Amani said, bouncing on his feet with excitement. "They asked people to submit designs for Uganda's new flag." "This is a very special flag," his brother said. "I need the darkest black in all of the world to represent the African people and land." Amani nodded his head and cried, "I can bring you the darkest black in all of the world." His brother's face brightened. He stood straighter and said, "I need the brightest yellow in all of the world to stand for the bright African sun." Amani clapped his hand and cried, "I can bring you the brightest yellow in all of the world." His brother raised his head even higher. "I need the reddest red in all of the world to show our brotherhood by blood." "I can bring you the reddest red in all of the world," Amani cried. And so it was that the little boy Amani decided that he would find the darkest black, the brightest yellow, and the reddest red in all of the world for his brother. But first, he would have to ask for the help of his two best friends. Amani's first best friend was Benny. Benny lived in the brown house next to Amani's with his family. Benny and Amani played football together in the evenings and went to the same school. Benny didn't care much for colors and paintings, but he loved going on long trips to the market. So every time Amani and his big brother went to the market to buy paint, he often tagged along. Amani's second best friend was Benny's little sister, Aita. And just like Amani, she was very curious. She liked to mix paint to see what new colors she could make. The three best friends met in the small garden behind Amani's house. It was the wet season, and so the garden was thick and green with the vegetables Amani's mother grew. "Why are we here?" Aita asked, stretching her pink skirt over her knees. Amani replied, "My brother is painting a very special flag." "Is it a new flag for our school?" Benny asked. "No, silly," Aita said, rolling her eyes. "That is not a very special flag." Benny pinched Aita's arm and she screamed. "Stop it!" Amani shouted. His two friends stopped and looked at him. "We have to help my brother find the darkest black in all of the world," he said. Suddenly, a thin, shaky voice said, "I can help you find the darkest black in all of the world." It was Trotters. He was dozing under the dodo when he heard the children talking. Amani stared at Tortoise with his mouth open. Aita stared with a big grin on her face. And Benny screamed a little. I can help you, Tortoise said again. All you have to do is go to Mother Moon and ask her for a piece of the night sky. But how will we get there? Amani asked. You will sit on my back and I will take you, Tortoise said. And he grew and grew and grew until he was the size of a small Toyota. The children sat on his back and they started their journey to Mother Moon. Now in those days, Tortoise was a very fast runner. He ran from Arua to Pakwach, where he found the river Nile. There, they met his old friend, Nile Parch. Hello, my good friend, Nile Parch said. Hello, old friend, Tortoise said. Nile Parch's big eyes were round and shiny, and he had to turn his whole body to look from child to child. It made the children giggle in delight. Who are these children and where are you taking them? He asked. This is Amani, Benny, and Aita. I am taking them to see Mother Moon, Tortoise replied. Then you have come to the right place, said Nile Parch, puffing up his silver chest. I am the best swimmer in these parts. I will swim you to the end of Lake Albert. And so the children and Tortoise sat on his wet, scaly back, and they swam until they reached the wet southern banks of Lake Albert. Tortoise and the children thanked Nile Parch, and off they went again, walking until they reached the Rwenzori Range. They climbed the mountain, breathing in the cold air and feeling the clouds tickle their noses. Aita squealed in delight when she felt snow scrunching under her feet. By nightfall, the children and Tortoise were up in the sky at the door to Mother Moon's house. There were twinkling stars hanging from her roof and clouds on her floor. Mother Moon herself shone like a polished silver coin, and her smile made her cheeks plump. How can I help you, children? She asked. Amani replied, Mother Moon, we're looking for the darkest black in all of the world. Mother Moon smiled and said, I will give you a piece of my night sky. It is the darkest black in all of the world. And she stretched up and tore off a piece of the night sky and put it in Amani's hands. Thank you, Mother Moon, the three children said. Then Amani asked, We are looking for the brightest yellow in all of the world. Can you help us, Mother Moon? Mother Moon shook her big silver head. She pointed to the east and said, I don't have it here, but talk to Father Sun in the east. He will give you a piece of his gold rays. And so Tortoise carried the children down Mount Rwenzori, and they walked until they reached Lake Choga. There, they found Tortoise's cousin, Crocodile, who was basking in the early morning sun. Now, Crocodile did not like to have his morning siesta disturbed. So when he heard the crunch of feet on stones, he pretended to be fast asleep. Cousin Crocodile, Tortoise said. Crocodile opened one eye, and when he saw it was his cousin, he opened the other one. Oh, hello, Cousin Tortoise, said Crocodile. Where are you all going? We're going to Father Sun's house to find the brightest yellow in all of the world, replied Tortoise. Will you help us cross the lake? Only because you're my favorite cousin, said Crocodile. And so he carried the four friends to the eastern banks of Lake Choga, where they bade him farewell. Tortoise carried the children until they reached Father Sun's house at the top of Mount Elgon. Father Sun was just waking up. Good morning, Father Sun, Aita said. Father Sun laughed a booming laugh. His face shone like a polished gold coin, and his teeth were whiter than salt. Who is this little lady with the big afro, Tortoise? Father Sun asked. Tortoise replied, That is Aita. She and her friends have traveled from the west of the Nile to find the brightest yellow in all of the world. Father Sun laughed again. His laugh made his face shine brighter, and the children had to cover their eyes. "I will give you one of my rays," Father Sun said. "It is the brightest yellow in all of the world." He stretched down, pulled a golden ray from his side, and gave it to Ita. "Thank you, Father Sun," the children said. "Father Sun, we're looking for the reddest red in all of the world. Can you help us?" Amani said. Father Sun shook his head and said, "I don't have it here, but go and ask Brother Lava on Mount Mufumbiru. He will give you a piece of his lava lake." And so Trotters carried the children down to the foot of Mount Elgon. There, they met Brother Elephant, who offered to carry them all the way to Mount Mufumbiru. It was a long trip, but Brother Elephant kept the children entertained by feeding them fruits with his trunk. When the four friends finally reached the top of the mountain, they found Brother Lava sitting discontentedly in his mountain bed and farting bubbles of gas. "What do you want, Trotters? Who are these children you have brought?" Brother Lava asked. He was very ill-tempered, you see, and he did not like visitors. Trotters' legs were shaking when he said, "This is Amani, Benny, and Ita. They are looking for the reddest red in all of the world." "My lava lake is the reddest red in all of the world," Brother Lava said. "I won't share it with any but the bravest child." Now Benny, as you can remember, was a bit of a coward. The lava lake looked very scary, red with boiling liquid and steaming like a hot cup of porridge. "You can do it, Benny," Amani said. Ita nodded and said, "You are the bravest." Benny climbed down from Trotters' back and walked to the edge of Brother Lava's lake. "I would like a piece of your lava lake, Brother Lava," he said. His knees were shaking and it was very hot at the edge of Brother Lava's lake. Brother Lava laughed and said, "What do you want a piece of my lava lake, which is the reddest red in all of the world for?" Suddenly, Benny felt the strength return to his legs. He stood tall and straight and said, "For a very special flag." Brother Lava smiled. He picked a piece of his lava lake and put it in Benny's hand. But alas, when the piece touched Benny's hand, it became a grey piece of rock. "You have lied to me," Benny cried. "No," Brother Lava said. "My lake only burns hot as long as you believe in it. You say this red is for a very special flag. You must always believe in it." The children thanked Brother Lava and Trotters carried them back home. Imagine their surprise when they found that only a few hours had passed in their absence. Together, they ran to Amani's garage and they found his brother sitting there with his head in his hands. "Brother," Amani said, "we brought you the darkest black in all of the world." "We brought you the brightest yellow in all of the world," Ita said. "And we brought you the reddest red in all of the world," Benny said. And as he held the piece of lava lake forward, it became the reddest red he had ever seen. On the 9th day of the 10th month of the next year, Amani, Benny, and Ita sat on the floor in front of Amani's parents' television, watching the news. Uganda was receiving her independence. The three friends smiled when they saw the Union Jack lowered and the new Uganda flag raised. It was the darkest black in all of the world. It was the brightest yellow in all of the world. It was the reddest red in all of the world. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Me I Read, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Hi story lovers, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Me I Read. I hope you had a good time. If you'd like to join us for other stories, click that tab and it will take you to all our editions. And like, comment, share, tell other people about it, and let us know if there are other stories that you'd like us to read to you. Thank you and see you again very soon. Bye.